Oh.
All right. Now, forgive me, it might take me a minute. I'm not quite used to this classroom. This is all very new for me. New place, new people, new everything. So bear with me. I'm just going to set this up, folks. But go ahead, sit down. Sit down, do what you got to do. And I will be with you all in just a few momentos. Yes. How are we doing here? Huh? 1, 2, 3. The cool thing is we have a doc cam. I will say I'm thrilled to see that we have a doc cam. Video. Oh, that might help. Turn that on. Up. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. ABC. Did anyone watch the new Michael Jackson movie? Did you? How was it? Was it good? This one. It was good? I have yet to watch it. You know, Michael Jackson was a prolific songwriter, musician. Yeah? Okay. Hey. There, we're getting closer, folks. Okay, now all we got to do is get this light. This should be able to. Oh, let me turn on a light real quick. I turned it off because, well, that's not going to help, huh? Okay, there we go. Y'all see that? Can you all see that? No. Okay, well, yeah, whatever. We're going to make it work. Yeah, this is real tangled up. Oh, good. Up a little bit. There we go. Well, goodness. Just flew right in. Didn't even take the plane. Well, thank you so much, all of you, for being here. My name is Graham Smith. I am a film, volunteer film studies teacher. And I started doing this out at Oregon State University, out in Corvallis, Oregon. And, I also taught at University of Oregon as well. Kind of a Universal Studios, if you will. A walking Universal Studios is who I am. I'm an independent film director based out of Oregon. I am the proud owner of Smitty Cycle Films. And so, yeah, it's an honor to be here. We are over here at the Shasta Community College out of Redding, California. We're in California. I never thought I'd go back to California, so thanks for having me. I love it here. It's such a beautiful state. Let me make sure we can really hear me there. It's a quiet room, I tell you. It's so quiet. There we go. Well, our doc cam's a little, it's a little crooked. But anyway, it doesn't matter. We don't come in for an easy landing, you know. We fly the plane, and I can land this plane. So we're not coming in for an easy landing, per se. We're just going to land the darn thing. By the way, what a beautiful campus Shasta Community College has, man. I went over down to the library, and they had a nice Starbucks. And boy, I got a buckaroo right down there and got me a venti coffee. And I had a really good time. It was really nice. It was a great morning. I was here at 7 a.m. sharp. I guess the place doesn't even open till 8. Oh, who would have known? So anyway, folks, like I said, my name is Graham Smith. I am a volunteer teacher, and so we're right smack in the middle of this series I started, and it's actually called How to Write a Script. So out in Oregon, especially at Oregon State University and the community college over there, there as well, which is about 10 miles away from the big boys. I ran into a lot of people who just didn't really know how to write a script. It seems to be a lot of people who are interested in the film industry and making, films just in general. They have a hard time writing scripts, and a lot of that is creative writing. Creative writing can be kind of difficult, for some folks. And so I thought I would start a series specifically geared towards how to, write a good screenplay. There's just so much junk out there in the film industry, unfortunately. You open up Netflix, you open up your Peacock, and it's all baloney, It's just all, there's no depth, it's just kind of foolish, she said, he said. It's just nonsense, or these far out, concepts that just don't really go anywhere. They just kind of fizzle out altogether. So, in this class, we will be definitely going for a lot of depth. We're going to make sure that you are able to be equipped. You will be equipped to write some heavy-hitting material. And I'll show you how to do it. We'll go step by step. Now, I thought about, bringing one of my scripts, because out in Oregon, we're working on 6 scripts. 6 scripts together with my class. And so I thought, well, I can't just bring one of my scripts that we're already working on necessarily. I don't know, it'd just be hard to jump right in the middle of it. It's a lot of material I've already covered, so I said, whoop! And I decided to, work with my team. Another thing you should know about me is I have a team of actors and actresses and other directors and producers and such all over the country. We're a little group. Anyway, so I got together with my guys and gals, and we decided to write a new script. A new script. And another thing you should know, a lot of my scripts are based on dreams. I have these really vivid and wonderful, magnificent dreams. And they end up usually, more often than not, turning into scripts. So that's what we're doing, folks. This is a new script that's a dream. It's a dream that I had not that long ago either. So this is our film. This will be a future film called Not Voracity. Oh. So yeah, there you go. This script is called Not Voracity. Not Voracity. Not Verastu. Nosferatu. No. Not Voracity. Okay. Notvoracity. Why? Because veracity is an old English word, I think from the 16th century. Beautiful word, but it's a word that means a strong desire, an intense hunger, an insatiable hunger, if you will, a longing for what you want. It's a strong desire. It's a great word. I was thinking avarice at first, but that word is used a little more. Veracity. Not used a lot. And that's, there you go, there's a little, one of the first things I can teach you right there is when you're naming a script or a film project or any kind of art project, maybe a painting, it doesn't matter, any kind of creative project that you have, think about the title. I use Old English words because they're not commonly spoke, but they're not commonly used for creative projects. Go on Peacock, Netflix, Hulu, Disney, right, Plus. Go on all those platforms, you'll see there's not a lot of projects that are, Old English words is the title. It's not a common thing. So that's one of my creative little hints. It's one of my little treats. That's how I stick out. And that's how I make, a good title. So there you go. There's one little thing. But let's just jump right into this. That was my little introduction. So I practiced it a little bit. So I hope you didn't get any on you. You know. Thank you for holding on and sticking through that. I know it's kind of mundane, and just drags on and on and on. So here's our film. This is called Not Voracity. And like I said, it was a dream. It came to me in a dream. And so we're just going to go ahead and give you the synopsis of this. Put this right here. And here you go. Okay. There we go. All right. So here we go. Got to make sure it stays. It's a real slippery table. I'll tell you what. I don't know why. I think it's because the problem is they gave me a science room. I requested that I'd have a classroom in the theater building, and they gave me the chemistry building, which, that's common out at Oregon State University as well, at U of O, University of Oregon. They give you've got to get any classroom you can sometimes because it's just so busy, and we are midweek. So yeah, it's a busy campus today. So I'm lucky to actually have this classroom. I can't complain too badly. So Not Voracity. Now hold on, folks. This is going to be a little heavy, but it's really good. It's really good. So just bear with me. It's very heavy source material. So here we go. Thunder and rain for that one. So, Not Voracity is a film about, let's just jump right into it. After the unexplained death of her young son, a grieving single mother rebuilds her life into something controlled and precise. Becoming a respected legal consultant known for solving complex and high-stake cases for 30 years. She avoids the emotional turmoil, the emotional chaos of her path by relying on logic, structure, clarity. Okay? So she avoids the emotional turmoil of, the loss of her son. But that control that she holds, right? She holds this control because, it's a lot of pain, of course. She holds that control, but the control begins to fracture about halfway through the movie. When a homeless man on the side of the road repetitively, whatever, it doesn't matter, approaches her on the city street. Okay? She'd be coming home from work, at a law firm. She'd come home. She's just an office lady, she's a consultant for a law firm. Anyway, she repetitively sees this younger homeless man who's about 34 years old always come up to her and try to talk to her, and he always calls her mom. Right? And so at first, of course, she dismisses him, nut job, your average homeless guy in a big city. Oh, we got a fly in here. Get out of here. Flies. It's a science building. What do you expect? They probably were cutting a frog up here or something before I came in. So, that's very much what, this homeless guy keeps coming up to her and calling her mom, right? And she's just like, this guy is cuckoo. Get the hell away from me, right? I'm tired. I just worked all day. Get away from me. You're nuts. You're crazy. You're nuts, right? But as these encounters keep happening, right? She, can't avoid it, right? He just always approaches her because she has to walk the same way every day to get home. it's a big city, there's only one way to go, really. And so anyway, every time she sees him, he starts revealing deeply personal memories, these private moments, these intimate details about her life and her son that no stranger could ever know, right? For 30 years, she just hid. She hid all this. Didn't tell nobody. Maybe her parents or something. Maybe a close friend. But nobody knows that this woman had lost a son when she was like 22 years old. She's 52 years old now, right? This is 30 years later from being a 22-year-old. Anyway, she's never told anyone jack shit. Excuse my language, but she just hasn't. She's the grief, the trauma. Can't blame her. But this guy knows all of these details. You know, what her son used to tell her, and what his favorite food was, and what she liked to do, and watching her in intimate, you know, moments where it's just mama and son, right? And so she, you know, as these encounters intensify, her professional and her personal worlds start to collide a little bit. Because, incidentally enough, she happens to be working on this case involving a person that was declared dead under questionable circumstances, right? And so, while working this case and having this homeless guy kind of in the back of her mind, it just kind of morphs into this snowball of collapsing, really. You know, she has to really, kind of a rebirth experience, if you will, right? She has to really figure out who the hell she is through all this. Anyway, so she's forced to confront this terrifying possibility that reality may not be as fixed as she believes. And so her attempts to disprove this man's claims only deepen the mystery as evidence refuses to confirm or deny his identity. Right? She's forced to, like, okay, I guess this guy is, this guy knows something. I can't deny it, right? It's really, really crashing her world. So ultimately, she must make this impossible choice between safety of rational certainty and the emotional truth of what she feels. So in choosing, so what happens is she chooses to believe him, right? And so in choosing to believe him, she reclaims not just her son, but her capacity for love, grief, and acceptance, embracing a reality that cannot be explained, only felt. The whole point of the film closes, the whole point of it is this film doesn't close on answers, but on connection. A quiet, unresolved understanding that some bonds transcend time, logic, and even death. So, inevitably, whether it's her son or not, it is her son by the end of the film. Right? So that's the whole point of this script. Non-veracity. So let's jump into that a little bit, right? Truth, proof, and belief. Those are the 3 points that would be harder to understand, I suppose, is the truth, proof, and belief. How does that incorporate into some of these other themes that I'm talking about that seem kind of not, arguably maybe not as intellectual as you'd want them to be, right?
And educational surrounding all these.
Oh, let's look at it, right? Objectively. In truth, something we prove or something we choose to believe is it Is truth something we prove? Or is it something we choose to believe? Well, most people want facts. They want statistics. They want, that's what they consider truth. Well, this film places our audience in direct tension between those two modes of understanding. That understanding of reality. So, there's the whole concept of objective truth. This fly. I've got a fly in here. But yeah, there's the whole concept of objective truth, right? This is Nietzsche's perspectivism. I believe he coined the phrase of objective truth. A famous philosopher, you should know who he is. I hope you do. You're at an educated establishment like this. I hope you know who Friedrich Nietzsche is. So, right? But objective truth, right? It's built on evidence. It's logic, verification. It dominates legal systems. It dominates social agreements. It provides stability. A shared reality, right? A shared reality that we all agree to, be a part of, that whole thing. Limitations, right? My favorite part of it. There's limitations. It cannot explain emotional or existential experience, per se, right? So, then that leads us to what is called subjective truth, I believe, of course. Built on memory, right? Subjective truth is built on memory, intuition, feeling. It exists more internally rather than, outwardly, rather than socially validated, is the way I put it. Subjective truth allows meaning, right? Connection and identity. Its limitation is it cannot always be proven or defended, right? Cannot always be proven or defended, which we'll touch back on that whole proving thing, that proof thing. But anyway, let's go to the character, right? Let's look at Mama. Let's look at Mama for a second here, okay? Okay, the Mama represents control, logic, and proof. Okay, she has rebuilt her life on certainty after loss. But then we look at the man, her little boy that she lost. He represents emotional truth, memory, and unresolved connection. He challenges the boundaries of reality itself. Okay? So what is the structural progression of this script? Or, the synopsis of the script. Usually I'll go scene by scene, but because, this is the first class and everything, I don't know how many more of these I'm going to do if because I'm kind of traveling all the time, so I just want to give you something that you could really wrap your head around and that you can go home with, some meat. I wanted you to be able to go home with some meat, not just some carrots and salad. So the structural progression of this story, it's certainty, right? Number one, let's look at certainty. What is certain? Well, certainty, the child dies. Reality is fixed, right? Okay, child dies. Okay, number two, let's look at what's the disruption, right? What is the counterattack? Well, it's the phrase, mom, question mark, mom, right? The homeless man, he says, mom, mom. That introduces a contradiction, right? To this fixed reality that she's living in. Okay, now let's look at number three, conflict. Emotional truth at this point begins to rival with logical certainty. Right? Conflict is the emotional truth colliding, if you will, this is the way I'd say it, with logical certainty. Okay, number four, collapse. The collapse. Evidence fails to confirm or deny And then number 5, choice. It's free will, right? Number 5, choice. Okay, the protagonist of our story must choose what truth to accept. Which then leads us into our turning point of this story. Okay, the narrative shifts from an external question. Is this guy real? You look at the homeless man. Is he real? That's the question you ask. Is he real? It's a question you ask to an internal decision, right? In your thought process. What's another question? Is will she accept him? Will she accept him? These questions, they reframe the truth as an act of choice rather than discovery, which is very impactful. We're giving the tools for our audience to be able, we're equipping our audience. If I use that word again, might as well. We're equipping the audience psychologically to understand some deeper concepts. We don't think our audience is stupid. And that's what's wrong with a lot of writing today in Hollywood, is they just think we're stupid and they make stupid stuff. And it's just brain rot, keep my brain rot on Instagram, thank you very much. I don't need to see it on my Netflix and my movie theater, or on my TV. Goodness gracious, there's meme culture and then there's art. Let's keep the two separate. Not that memes can't be art, they can, but there's different categories, right? There's gotta be. We gotta have some dividing lines here. Because even the brain rot memes are better than some of the writing I've witnessed from Hollywood. Truly. I think you have as well, my folks. So what is the statement here? What is the thematic statement of what's going on, right? It's that truth is not always discovered through evidence. That's one of the big mama of this movie, right? The truth is not always discovered through evidence. In moments where proof fails, truth becomes something we choose in order to live with what we feel. Let me say that again. Truth becomes something we choose in order to live with what we feel. And so, we're setting the audience up for success here. We really are. The film is deliberately withholding confirmation through the entire film until the very end, of course. And so the audience must decide for themselves whether this man is real or really her son. If this lost boy who's now a man is really her son, it's up to the audience to figure it out. And the transformation, this transforms rather the viewers into participants. See, we're engaging the audience now. They're not just watching something, they're in it. Because they are very much the characters. Because we're touching on some psychological things that you can't separate yourself from. You just can't. It's really testing.